And a pleasant good afternoon to you, everybody. Welcome to APN Sports and our coverage of the Arizona Youth Football League. It's our second week of broadcasting and the second game today from Willow Canyon High School as the 7U Wildcats will be taking on the Devilcats. Eric Anderson will have the call of the game. We did not get rosters from either teams, so he is trying to get that right now. So we may be a little late in the play-by-play. We'll do the best we can. We can't call a game without rosters. So anyway, the two teams meeting at midfield for the opening coin toss. And what should be an outstanding game, from what we understand, two very good teams here. From Willow Canyon, we're out on the northwest side of the Valley of the Sun here in the Phoenix, Arizona area, and we'll have the opening kickoff, and we will have visuals for sure. We'll try to get the rosters here, as that last game took over 2 hours to play. So hopefully this one won't be a marathon like that one. But nonetheless, 7U Wildcats against the Devilcats here on March 29th. And stay with us. We'll have all the action coming up next. So the two teams are getting set for the opening kickoff. I see Eric coming up the steps, so he'll be joining us momentarily for the play-by-play on this one. Wildcats coming out in the all-blue uniforms, and obviously the Devilcats are in the white, and I think they have a gold trim. And here's the opening kickoff, and this game is underway. It didn't go the required 10 yards. But it looks like the Devilcats are going to take over on downs, and they will be in plus territory starting at the 48 of the Wildcats, appropriately in the Kentucky blue, much like the Kentucky Wildcats of the NCAA. And it'll be first down and 10. For the Devilcats, who won game one in the 12U game that we were streaming live just a moment ago. A 25-13 victory for them, and now they're hoping to make it two straight here from Willow Canyon High School. First down and 10 from the 48 of the Wildcats. And at this age group, the coaches are allowed to confer with the players on the field. First down and 10, they'll run it to the left side and got some running room, and then he's going to be tripped up for a short yardage gain. Number 3 looks like he was in there for the Big Blue, and that'll bring up a second down and long, call it 2nd and 9. In the Wildcats in the blue, all blue uniforms. One-yard pickup on the first play from scrimmage in this contest. Second down and 9 for the team in white. Just underway from Willow Canyon High School. And they will go back to the aerial attack and throw it to the far side. And that ball looks like it was intercepted. Officials not making an indication of whether there was a change of possession or did he come up with that ball cleanly. And it looks like it's going to be a turnover on downs. The officials here today have not given us very many, if any, signals so far. And so on that point, I turn the play-by-play back over to Eric Anderson.
Thank you, Jeff. Right around 72 degrees out here, maybe 75. Very nice. So Devilcats had the ball first. The Wildcats in the blue now. They take over. They're 2-0 on the season. Devilcats, again, as Jeff said, in the gray uniforms. And it's 7 and under action. A little bit of a breeze out here. So after that turnover, the Wildcats take over. Number 29, Jaden Reese, is the quarterback for the men in blue, the Wildcats at 2-0. First down and 10 for the Wildcats from their own 42-yard line. Just underway. First possession for the Wildcats. And a handoff inside and gain of a couple, and big tackle on defense that time by Kai Jones. Julian Espindola with the carry that time, I believe 23, getting that carry and picking up about 2 for the Wildcats. No score. First possession of the ball game for the Wildcats. The Devilcats tossing an interception. It'll be second down and 8 for the Wildcats from their own 44-yard line. Julius Davis, 24, is in the backfield for the Wildcats, as well as Espindola. The coaches, as Jeff said, they're able to talk with the players in there. Nice for these kids to get started early. So Cadence Reed, the quarterback for the Wildcats. Espindola, 23. And also Davis in the backfield, the running back. Second down and 8, Wildcats. A high snap. Quick toss here to the near side is nearly intercepted through the hands of Palafox. So Jaden Reed took the high snap and tossed it here to the near side. It was nearly picked off. It goes incomplete. Third down and 8. Wildcats from their own 44-yard line. Game 1 was won by the Devilcats 25-13 over the Wildcats. This is a 7 under matchup. Again, the Wildcats in those blue uniforms and the gray of the Devilcats. Devilcats out of Glendale/Peoria. Wildcats at a surprise. Third down and 8, Wildcats from their own 44. Again, the coaches can help out. Julius Davis, 24, in the backfield. To his right, Julian Espindola. Game 1 seemed to go on forever. That time going under center, the quarterback Reese gets it, and he breaks into the secondary, and off he goes. 2 men to beat, inside the 20, the 15-10, and Jaden Reese takes that ball 56 yards for a touchdown. No penalty markers on the play, and the Wildcats take a lead by a score of 6-0. A 56-yard quarterback scamper by Jaden Reed. Or I should say Reese. The quarterback, Jaden Reese, taking that ball, going through traffic, 56 yards for the touchdown. 6-0 in favor of the Wildcats here in the early stages of this ball game. About 6 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Is no scoreboard, no operating scoreboard. So as in game one, we had difficulty keeping track of the time. The referees doing it. We had a lot of injuries in game one and timeouts, penalties, so that game took over 2 hours. A 1-point conversion, the team will be either running or passing it. If they chose to kick, it would go for 2 points. So the Wildcats will go for a 1-point conversion. Number 29, Jaden Reed. The quarterback goes out of the shotgun. 23, Espindola in the backfield. Whistle is blown. And what do we have here? Illegal motion against the Wildcats. It'll now come from 8 yards. The 2 p.m. ball game is a matchup of 12 and under teams. Or I should say 13 and under. The Arizona Crush out of Casa Grande against the Prescott Valley Hitmen. 13 and under matchup at 2 p.m. So the Wildcats now will go for a 1-point conversion from 8 yards. That snap is back, and it is grabbed by Espindola, but nothing doing. Some big hitting on defense that time. Kai Jones, number 15, leading the charge. So the 1-point conversion is no good for the Wildcats. They lead it 6-0 on the 56-yard run by Reese. About 6 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. So, Jeff, I believe no kickoffs in this game. Is that correct? They just take it from their own. They did line up before when I was getting the rosters. Got the rosters a little bit late. The Wildcats will kick off.
They recovered the opening kickoff. Or no, that was the interception. My bad.
The interception on the turnover. The opening drive of the ballgame started with the Devilcats, but they threw an interception, and the Wildcats took advantage, scoring on the 56-yard touchdown run by Reese. Julius Davis will place the ball on the tee for the Wildcats. Merrick Lindsay, the quarterback for the Devilcats here on the near side to return this, as well as Elijah De Silva on the far side. And this a short kick is recovered by Bain Branham for the Devilcats, and they'll have good field position, 1st and 10 at the 46 of the Wildcats. Game one, the Devilcats in 12 and under action won 25-13. Here it is midway through the opening quarter, 6-0 Wildcats on the 56-yard touchdown run by the quarterback Reese. The extra point trying to run it in was no good. Devilcats in the gray and in the blue, the Wildcats. 1st and 10, Devilcats from the 46 of the Wildcats. A passing situation and taking off with that ball to the near side and racing out of bounds, Jaden Palifax. So Palifax, 21, picking up 5 yards on that carry around the right side. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Devilcats at the 41 of the Wildcats. Wildcats with a 6-0 lead. With all the running that goes on in a ball game with 7 and under kids, it'll go by fairly fast. 2nd down and 5. Halifax fires, and that is complete, and off to the races this time is Oliver Smith, and he is taken down at the 2-yard line. The 2-yard line. So Oliver Smith making the catch, and Levi Taft with a touchdown-saving tackle. A 34-yard pass, catch, and run. And the Devilcats knocking on the door. 1st and goal at the 2-yard line of the Wildcats, and we've got a timeout. Wildcats leading 6-0 here midway through the opening quarter. 56-yard touchdown run by the quarterback of the Wildcats, Jadance Reese, wearing 29. So a nice completion to Oliver Smith on that play for 34 yards. Temperature expected to get to 82 degrees this afternoon out here at Willow Canyon High School. It opened in 2003. Out in Surprise on the far west side of the Phoenix metro area. It's 7 and under action here between the Wildcats out of Surprise and the Arizona Devilcats out of Glendale/Peoria. So after the timeout, the referees haven't been real assertive as far as the calls, who made the timeout, certain plays, and again, no working scoreboard, so can't keep track of the time. First down and goal for the Devilcats at the 2-yard line of the Wildcats. Halifax is the quarterback with 3 backs in the backfield and a handoff to the tailback. And no signal yet. Not quite enough for a first down. So a handoff to the tailback, not quite enough for a first down. Zakai Sewell, number 18, amongst others, on the stop for the Wildcats. A gain of 2.5. It'll be 2nd down and inches for the Devilcats inside the 1-yard line of the Wildcats. Arturo Arroyo is the running back, 99. And again, a handoff inside and maybe a loss of a half a yard. So Major Thomas on the tackle that time for the Wildcats, who's trying to stop this action here. The tailback is Jaden Halifax. And on the quarterback keeper going to the right, tripped up that time and not getting the touchdown on a great play by Levi Taft of the Wildcats. Merrick Lindsay, that time the quarterback tried to take it around the right side, and he ended up losing a yard. Thanks to Levi Taft, some great defense for the Wildcats. It's now 4th down and 2. Or I should say 4th down and goal at the 2-yard line for the Devilcats. Who's going to win this matchup here? Wildcats trying to hold on to that 6-0 lead, and it's 4th down and goal for the Devilcats at the 2-yard line of the Wildcats. And a stoppage of play, a whistle, no indication again. Jaden Halifax, the quarterback number 2, Merrick Lindsay, also in there for the Devilcats. No penalty, is just a stoppage of play. Halifax, the quarterback, goes under center. Elijah De Silva is the tailback. That time they tried to run it in. What did you see that time? It got off very quickly, and the quarterback just downed it. It's a loss of 3 on the play, and the Wildcats turn the Devilcats away. A loss of 1, in fact. It'll be first down and 10 for the Wildcats from their own 3-yard line. They lead it 6-0 from their own 3-yard line, so the Wildcats defense comes up big. And a quick toss. This ball is picked off here on the near side at the 11-yard line that time by Jaden Palafax for the Devilcats. So the Wildcats throwing deep in their own territory with a costly turnover. It'll be first down and 10 for the Devilcats after one play, after they couldn't get in on 4 downs. They'll have it first down and 10 at the 12-yard line of the Wildcats. Wildcats leading 6-0 here in the later stages of the first quarter, we think. So this time the Devilcats will try to get it in. They were turned away the last time. First and 10, Palafax is the quarterback. The ball pops loose, and it is scooped up by the Wildcats and racing back the other way. This is why they time people in the 40-yard dash. Again, Julian Espindola will go all the way on the fumble return. Unofficially, it goes for 90 yards. Julian Espindola with a 90-yard fumble return. And it's now 12-0 Wildcats. A costly turnover for the Devilcats as Espindola runs at 90 yards, unofficially 90 yards, on the fumble return for the touchdown. And Espindola for the Wildcats is down, maybe cramped up a little bit, going 90 yards. Might just be a cramp as he took that 90 yards untouched. The Wildcats will now try a one-point conversion. Yeah, I just think a cramp for Espindola. Temperatures right around getting close to 80 degrees. Wildcats will try a one-point conversion. The quarterback is Jaden Reed, who scored on a 56-yard run for the first touchdown for the Wildcats. So now the Wildcats, one man short. Well, in fact, they switch players. Going in, coming out, Major Thomas. The one-point conversion in trouble, and down goes Reese. It was John Etu with the tackle for a loss, and the score stays 12-0 in favor of the Wildcats. Closing moments of this first quarter. Nice breeze out here at Willow Canyon out in Surprise in the far west side of Phoenix. Temperatures right around 80, expected to get to 82. The Wildcats out to a quick 12-0 lead. They're 2-1 in the season. Not a surprise. This is 7-under ball. Wildcats scored first in a 56-yard run by Reese, the quarterback, then a 90-yard fumble return by Espindola. Both extra points were tried to run it in for one-point conversions, and both failed. So the Wildcats will kick off. Game one, the Devilcats beat the Wildcats 25-13 in a game that went over 2 hours long. A lot of penalties, injuries, timeouts. So the Wildcats will kick off. It'll be Levi Taft to kick off for the Wildcats. Elijah Da Silva on the near side, Levi Chavez on the far side. It is picked up by Chavez back at the 31-yard line. They're going to say that he is down. His knee may be touched. So Levi Chavez with the knee touching the ground back around the 32-yard line for the Devilcats. That's where they will go to work. They've been switching up quarterbacks, Merrick Lindsay as well as Jaden Palafox. 12-0 Wildcats. Devilcats go to work. First down and 10 from their own 32-yard line. The 2 p.m. ball game, a pair of 13 and under teams, the Arizona Crush out of Casa Grande versus the PV Hitmen out of Prescott Valley. First and 10 for the Devilcats from their own 31-yard line. From the shotgun, a quick toss far side, and it goes incomplete. Merrick Lindsay overshooting the intended target on the far side. Didn't get a lot of information on both teams as game one went over a little bit long. The Wildcats out of Surprise, the Devilcats out of Glendale / Peoria. Devilcats in the white, Wildcats in the blue, and the Wildcats leading 12-0, closing moments of the first quarter. Elijah Da Silva is the tailback. They pitch it to him, makes the grab, slips a tackle in the backfield, slips a couple of tackles, cuts it back to his left. He's slipped 5 tackles on the move, and there he goes on the far side. He's close to a first down. Elijah Da Silva broke about 5 tackles and ran about 35 yards to pick up 10. A timeout is called for the Wildcats. He kind of motioned over here towards the Wildcats. So Elijah Da Silva with a 10-yard run. He ran about 35 yards to get the 10 yards, breaking 5 tackles. It'll be first down and 10 for the Devilcats from their own 42-yard line after this timeout. The Wildcats leading 12-0 in the final stages of the first quarter. A 56-yard touchdown run by the quarterback Reese. The extra point no good. 90-yard fumble return by Espindola for the Wildcats made it 12-0, and the extra point was failed as they tried to run it in both times. 4 10-minute quarters. If they try to run or pass the extra point, it's a 1-point conversion. Should they try to kick it, it's good for 2. Nice breeze out here, and the temperature's right around 80. First and 10 for the Devilcats from their own 42-yard line. They trail it by a score of 12-0. Late stages of the first quarter. Yeah, no running clock or no scoreboard being operated. Merrick Lindsay, wearing number 2, was out of the shotgun. Paralox throws it into traffic and nearly picked off. Frankie Mejia laid the quarterback Palafox on his backside. 77 what? Oh, 77 degrees out here. Not quite 80 yet. Second down and 10 for the Devilcats from their own 42. They trail it 12-0. Late stages of the opening quarter. Devilcats in the gray and white. Movement on the line. No penalty call. Racing to his left is Lindsay, and not going to get much on that one. It's going to be counted as a sack on the far side. Did you happen to check and catch who did it on that far side? Yeah, Zakai Sewell, 18, was the closest to the action. A loss of 2, 3rd down and 12 for the Devilcats from their own 40-yard line. They trail it 12-0 here as clock ticking away here in the first quarter. In fact, double checking, Levi Taft, number 3 on that hit. Merrick Lindsay, number 2, the quarterback. Elijah Da Silva is the running back, number 17. They hand it off to Da Silva, but he couldn't hold on to it and has to simply fall on it for a 4-yard loss. So Da Silva couldn't hang on. Also getting up down low was Bain Branham. A loss of 3 on the play. It is showing, well, it's not first down. The chains on the far side showing first down, but it is not first. They have 15 yards to go to the Devilcats. The head coaches are conferring now with the referees. Yeah, these games have gone awfully long, and with no operating scoreboard, have to just estimate the time. In game 1, the fourth quarter seemed to go on and on forever with a lot of penalties and some injuries. 3rd down and 15 for the Devilcats back at their own 37-yard line. They need the Wildcats 48 for a first down. Elijah Da Silva is the running back for the Devilcats. 3rd down and 15. Devilcats trailing 12-0. Closing moments of the first quarter. Coaches, of course, can come out and discuss things with the players. Yeah, this is taking a lot of time. I think it's the referees checking with the coaches. 3rd down and 15, Devilcats from their own 37-yard line. Movement on that offensive or defensive. That's going to be illegal motion against the Devilcats on offense. It'll cost them 5. It'll be 3rd and 20. Devilcats back in their own 31-yard line now. Willow Canyon High School right here, opened in 2003 on the far west side of Phoenix, out in City of Surprise. 3rd down and 20. Wildcats from their own, or should say Devilcats from their own 31-yard line. Movement again on that right side of the Devilcat line. Bain Branham, 42, jumped, it appeared, and it's timeout called by the Devilcats. And welcome back, everybody. Eric Anderson along with Jeff Lowry, 12-0 in favor of the Wildcats here. Later stages of the first quarter, 3rd and 25 for the Devilcats back at their own 26-yard line. And It's a handoff straight ahead, and gain of about 4 as the running back running into a big pile that time. In fact, it was a quarterback keeper by Merrick Lindsay. He was smothered down at the 19-yard line. It'll be 4th down, and it's going to set up 4th and 23. 4th and 23 for the Devilcats back of their own 19, and that will be the end of the first quarter. It is 12-0 Wildcats as we take a break in the action. Start of the second quarter, Wildcats with a 12-0 lead. And on downs, 1st down and 10, Wildcats, a long toss here to the near side. It goes incomplete. Good throw by the quarterback, Jaden Reese, but it goes incomplete around midfield. Fun to see some of these young guys when they throw it. We saw in game 1, a couple of the quarterbacks and the 12 and under really with some good arms. It'll be 2nd down and, well, now a timeout is called by the Devilcats, I believe. We just had a timeout, so I guess we take another break in the action, or another timeout's called by the Devilcats. 12-0 Wildcats here in the second quarter. Second down and 10 of the Wildcats from their own 37-yard line. The Wildcats leading 12-0. Very early stages, maybe about the second play of the second quarter. Jaden Reese, the quarterback, 29 out of the shotgun. And he tries to hand off. Ball pops loose. He picks it up, running for his life, gets away, cuts back here to the near side, picks up a couple of blockers, gets to the outside. Reese with all sorts of running room down the near sideline. He cuts it back and tripped up here inside the 30, the 28-yard line. That time by Merrick Lindsay. A penalty marker is down. And my guess is this might come back due to a block in the back or holding. So Jaden Reese, who had the 56-yard run from scrimmage early on, then the 90-yard fumble return by Espindola, the 2 scores for the Wildcats. But the long run that time by Reese will come back. It was a gain of right around 40 yards, but that's going to come back. It'll be 2nd down and 15 for the Wildcats, now back in their own 34. They lead at 12-0. Very early stages of the second quarter. The handoff this time is Levi Taft going left, dodging and darting up over midfield to the near side. Looked like he stepped out, but he cuts back into the middle of the field and off to the races. Taft is going to go all the way for a touchdown. No penalty markers on the play. It goes for 62 yards. And Taft's run makes it 18-0 in favor of the Wildcats. Very early stages of the second quarter. Levi Taft, a 62-yard run from scrimmage. And it's 18-0 Wildcats here in the second quarter. And I would guess the Wildcats would go for the 1-point conversion. No kicking is tough at this level. So the Wildcats getting their strategy together as Jaden Reese brings them back onto the field with Taft, wearing number 3, who just got that touchdown run. Julian Espindola, the other running back, wearing 23. Julius Davis, 24, also lined out to the right. They will go for a 1-point conversion. Well, the Wildcats. Penalty marker comes in, and that play didn't get off the ground. Offside, in fact, the Wildcats lining up in the neutral zone, it does appear. Well, it's actually going to be offside against the Devilcats, even though the official here on the near side pointed to the Wildcats. So it'll be half the distance of the goal. The Wildcats going for a 1-point conversion as King Ia, number 8, checks in, and checking out Major Thomas, number 19 for the Wildcats. A 1-point conversion now for the Wildcats from the 1.5-yard line, and this is Reese, the quarterback, taking in around the left side, and that'll count for the 1-point conversion. It's now 19-0 in favor of the Wildcats. So Taft, a 62-yard touchdown run for the Wildcats, and they lead at 19-0. Right around 8 minutes remaining in this first half. First game at 10 a.m. was 12 and under. The Devilcats out of Glendale/Peoria, the Arizona Devilcats, beating the Wildcats out of Surprise 25-13. This is a 7 and under matchup. Nice breeze blowing out here, temperature about 77. The 2 p.m. game will be 13 and under. This game started a little bit late as the first game ran long. 2 p.m. game will be a pair of 13 and under teams. The AZ Crush out of Casa Grande against the PV Hitmen out of Prescott Valley. So Levi Taft will kick off for the Wildcats. Taft kicks this one and goes through the legs, this time of Chavez, and picking it up back at the 35-yard line, racing head Merrick Lindsay, taken down at the 39. Pretty good collision on that run back. We've got a man down for the Wildcats. It's Levi Taft, unfortunately, who had that 62-yard run moments ago. So Levi Taft is down. Should we take a break? Quick break in the action. Levi Taft down for the Wildcats. So Levi Taft comes off the field for the Wildcats. He was shaken up just a little bit on that kickoff, and Devilcats take over trailing 19-0 right around 6 minutes remaining in this first half. They'll have it first down and 10 right around their own 39-yard line. Do the Devilcats in the gray. Levi Chavez in the backfield wearing number 7 for the Devilcats. Not a lot of teams line up under center these days, but see what happens here. So Lincoln Lindsay now in at quarterback, and he races to the right. The quarterback, a penalty marker comes in. He's down inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. That'll go for 22 yards, but a penalty marker comes in. And Lincoln Lindsay with a nice run around the right side, kind of holding his arm, but picking up 22, but a penalty marker comes in the vicinity of holding. Elijah Da Silva tried to give the umpire, now he gives that umpire the flag. Well, it looks like it's going to stand. No penalty or it won't be called. It's a 22-yard gain for Lincoln Lindsay wearing number 98. Checked in at quarterback. The Devilcats trailing by a score of 19-0 here midway through the second quarter. It'll be first down and 10, Devilcats at the Wildcats 39-yard line. Wildcats 2-1 on the season in the blue, Devilcats in the gray. Of course, the coaches on the field able to discuss things with their players, 7 and under. Levi Chavez goes out of the shotgun on first and 10. He'll run it to his left. A penalty marker comes in. He's going to be taken down for a loss of about 3, but a penalty marker comes in. Zakai Sewell making the stop, number 18 on defense for the Wildcats, but a penalty marker came in. This looks like it's going to go against the Devilcats. They lost 3 on that play on the tackle. What in the world is going on? Timeout for the Devilcats as they all went and what is going on now? They're going to spot the ball at the 42-yard line. The Devilcats own 42. And the coaches don't seem very happy with the squad. Wildcats leading 19-0, a 56-yard run by Reese, 62-yard run by Taft, 90-yard fumble return by Espindola. Well, now it appears that they're changing ends. Am I losing my mind here? I'm very confused here. The Devilcats now will move it from right to left. I guess how do you forget to switch ends after? Oh. So, in fact, the Devilcats, they did not switch directions going into the second quarter. So now 2nd and 13, Devilcats at the Wildcat 42. Wildcats leading 19-0 here. Right around 4, at least somewhere around 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Levi Chavez wearing number 7 in the backfield, and that toss into traffic by Palafox, and That ball was dropped. So it'll be third down once again. Appeared that Oliver Smith, who caught a long ball early, was in the vicinity there. Third down and 13 for the Devilcats at the 42 of the Wildcats. Jaden Palafox, the quarterback, out of the shotgun. Gets a snap and heaves it as complete to the far side inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. A nice catch down there by Merrick Lindsay. It goes for 23 yards inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. So Palafox finding Lindsay. A nice throw on that. The Devilcats trying to get on the scoreboard. They trail at 19-0 here. About 3 minutes remaining in the half. First and 10, Devilcats at the 19 of the Wildcats. Out of the shotgun. Handoff in the backfield. Tremendous tackle by Julian Espindola. Nothing doing that time in the backfield on the handoff to the tailback, and it's going to be a loss on the play of 4, setting up 2nd and 14. So Espindola doing the job on defense. He had a 90-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Palafox out of the shotgun. He will throw, and it goes incomplete. Little contact there, but that was after the fact between Reese and the receiver. And the receiver that time was Bane Branham. It goes incomplete, setting up a third down and 14 for the Devilcats at the 23 of the Wildcats. Wildcats leading 19-0. Estimating about 3 minutes remaining in the half. No working scoreboard. Game 1 was a 12-under matchup between the junior Wildcats out of Surprise and the Arizona Devilcats out of Glendale/Peoria. The Devilcats winning 25-13. Levi Chavez, 7, is in the backfield. He's out to block, and the quarterback takes it himself and picks up maybe 2 at best that time. Merrick Lindsay runs into a pile of Wildcats. It'll set up 4th down after he picked up maybe a yard. It'll be 4th down and 13 for the Devilcats at the... Well, it's still, I guess he didn't really pick up anything on that. It'll be 4th down and 14. Devilcats at the 23 of the Wildcats. They need the 9-yard line for a first down. Devilcats knocked on the door early and couldn't get it inside the 2-yard line of the Wildcats. Turned away 4 times. On 4th and 14, that's going to be interference as the pass went into quadruple coverage, or triple coverage, I would say, and the receiver had all sorts of contact on that and was intended for Oliver Smith. Now, let's see what they call on here. It was interference, but might just be a 15-yard penalty, or have to see what the referees decide. It was 4th down and 14, and Smith was knocked down on triple coverage on the pass. I think a lot of the time is the referees taking a lot of time to figure things out. It'll be a 15-yard penalty against the Wildcats, but still not quite enough for a first down. It's not an automatic first down. In fact, it was 4th down and 14. The 15 yards should have gotten them enough, but the chain crew on the far side showing 1st down and 2. Now that's got to be incorrect, I would think. Again, the refs figuring it out. I think it would be 4th down at about 2. Not an automatic first down. And it is now changed on the far side. 4th and 2. Devilcats at the 11-yard line of the Wildcats. Wonder how they decide on the rules at different levels. You know, why at one level it's an automatic first down, another level it's not. 4th down and the snap is low. A penalty marker comes in. That ball thrown into the end zone by Palafox. The ball is not caught. It went through the hands of the intended target. It's intended for Bane Branham, but a penalty marker came in. Huh? They've got, I guess it's four officials, and having to chat on each one, which I understand they want to try to get it right, but it's, the first game went over 2 hours. Generally, they're an hour and a half. First game went over 2 hours. And they're not signaling what the penalties have been. I get this one will go against the Wildcats because they marked the ball down at the 6-yard line, a 5-yard penalty. Not sure what the penalty actually was. I would guess maybe offside against the Wildcats. 1st and goal for the Devilcats at the 6 of the Wildcats. Wildcats leading 19-0, closing moments of the first half. Jaden Palafox, the quarterback, with Chavez to his left in the backfield. Low snap. He went down on a knee to pick it up, and he'll be down back around the 9-yard line. And now one of the Wildcats, Zamir Samuels, throws down a member of the Devilcats. And now they spot the ball around the 7-yard. Well, now they're going to move it back to about the 9. It'll be the quarterback, Palafox, went down on the low snap and his knee touched, I believe. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Devilcats at the 9 of the Wildcats. Wildcats leading 9-0. Closing moments in the first half. No working scoreboard. Palafox, the quarterback. Palafox, beg your pardon. Well, now this time it's Merrick Lindsay who throws. Not quite sure what happened there. It was intercepted. Did you happen to see who it was? Picked off by the Wildcats, Levi Taft. So the second time the Devilcats are turned away deep in Wildcat territory. Credit the Wildcats defense. So Taft picked off that pass of Merrick Lindsay, and Wildcats leading 19-0 here later stages of the second quarter will take over. 1st and 10 from their own 3. So Taft with a 62-yard run earlier and now an interception. Jaden Cerise, the quarterback, had a 56-yard run early on. Wildcats 1st and 10 from their own 3-yard line. Taft in the backfield. Now we got another penalty and a false start against the Wildcats, half the distance to the goal. Julius Davis, number 24, will now check in for the Wildcats. Taft, number 3, will come out. Reese, the quarterback, checking the signals here on the sideline for the Wildcats. 1st and 12 for the Wildcats as the ball rests back at their own 1-yard line. They lead it 19-0, closing moments in the first half. And the ball pops loose. We've had several fumbled exchanges. But Reese gets on that one, and he lost his shoe, it appeared, and it'll be marked at the half-yard line now. Second down, and we'll call it about 13 for the Wildcats at their own half-yard line. They cannot afford to turn it over. A little quarterback sneak would probably come in handy right here. Reese goes under center. Reese stepped back and now takes it to his right, gets to the outside, and Reese taken down the far side around the 18-yard line. Nice tackle on the far side by Branham. A 17-yard pickup and a first down at the 18-yard line for Reese and the Wildcats. So they got out of that hole that time. A 17-yard run by Reese, who already has a 56-yard touchdown run. 19-0 Wildcats right before halftime, as they've turned away the Devilcats deep in Wildcat territory twice. First and 10, Wildcats from their own 18-yard line. Reese goes under center again. And the handoff this time going out to the right was Espindola. And a very nice open field tackle for the Wildcats. Great open field tackle by Oliver Smith, who had a long pass reception early on. A loss, well, not going to call it. It's going to call it even. No gain on the play. Second and 10 for the Wildcats from their own 18-yard line. Coaches are able to give instructions. Jadance Reese, the quarterback. Out to his right this time. He handed off to the running back, Espindola. And again, a nice open field tackle by Oliver Smith of the Devilcats. A loss of 2 on the play. It'll be third down and 12 for the Wildcats back of their own 16. Devilcats with a 19-0 lead here right before halftime. The first game ran a little bit long, over 2 hours. They generally are an hour and a half. Right now we're looking at right around an hour, as we started a little bit late. Third down and 12, Wildcats from their own 16-yard line. Espindola is the running back in the backfield. Quarterback is Reese. He tosses it far side, and it is not intercepted, as that ball was caught on a bounce on the far side by Oliver Smith. It goes incomplete, setting up a fourth down and 12 for the Wildcats from their own 16-yard line. They need their own 28 for a first down. Wildcats leading 19-0 here. Very closing stages of the first half. Temperature right around 80 degrees. Nice breeze out here on the west side in Surprise. Jadance Reese, number 29, the quarterback, had a 56-yard run earlier for a touchdown. There looked like movement in the backfield. This time Reese fires at far side, and it's complete right around the line of scrimmage, but the ball pops loose. Carr had it for a second, 26, and then Oliver Smith was over there. It goes incomplete is what my guess is. On downs, the Devilcats will take over. First and 10 at the 16-yard line of the Wildcats. Again, a half that just continues to go on.
They're not the surprise Wildcats, they're the Southside Wildcats.
Southside Wildcats?
Hey, everybody yell at me, go tell them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the Wildcats are out of the south side. They're the Southside Wildcats. 7 on their ball. First down and 10. Halifax throws. A penalty marker comes in. It goes incomplete. Intended for Branham in the vicinity of interference. Davis gets up a little bit slow for the Wildcats. It is 19-0 Wildcats here as very closing moments of this first half. So the Wildcats from the south side. It'll be second down and, well, it'll be 1st and 3 after the interference for the Devilcats at the 8-yard line. A low snap. Halifax throws it to the end zone. It goes incomplete to Oliver Smith. You're never sure what the rules are depending on the level that you're at. I mean,
They usually play high
high school where it's not an automatic first down. I don't know how they determine what rules are at different levels.
Weir's got to make money too.
It'll be second down. Well, as of now, it looks like it's second and goal for the Devilcats at the 8-yard line of the Wildcats. Wildcats leading 19-0. Lindsey going right. Going to take it himself. Cuts back inside. He's close to the end zone. And they're going to say that he is down at the 1-yard line. So almost a little bit of a skirmish down there as it was a 7-yard gain by the quarterback Lindsey around the right side, but then he was swarmed under in a sea of blue. A few little tempers flaring briefly there. No scoreboard, so not able to know how much time is left on the clock here in the first half. Wildcats leading 19-0. 56-yard touchdown run by the quarterback Reese, a 90-yard fumble return by Espindola, and then Taft a 62-yard run for the Wildcats as they lead at 19-0. But right before the half, Devilcats knocking on the door. Third down and goal at the 1-yard line of the Wildcats. So 2 plays to get it in for the Wildcats. Merrick Lindsey, number 2, is the quarterback. Third down and goal for the Devilcats at the Wildcat 1-yard line. Trying to get on the board. Lindsey on the quarterback keeper straight ahead. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. 1-yard touchdown run by Lindsey. And the Devilcats on the board. It is 19-6 Wildcats. And the Devilcats will try for a 1-point conversion if they try to pass it or run it right before halftime. The 2 p.m. ball game, a pair of 13 and under teams, the AZ Crush out of Casa Grande against the Paradise, or I should say PV Hitmen out of Prescott Valley. Well, they will try the 2-point extra point try, the Devilcats will, with Lincoln Lindsey to try the extra point. No rush, and the kick is up a good leg, and Lincoln Lindsay knocks it through for 2 points. So Lincoln Lindsay, no rush on that kick, drills it through to make it 19-8. The Devilcats getting on the board, the Wildcats leading at 19-8. Closing moments here before halftime. The breeze has picked up a little bit. You can see the shirts, and that is halftime officially. Is that correct, Jeff? So halftime here at Willow Canyon High School, it is 19-8 in favor of the Wildcats. Take about a 10-minute break. Back with the second. And welcome back, everybody. Eric Anderson along with, I think we need to turn me up here. Eric Anderson along with Jeff Lowry. Here we start the second half. The Wildcats leading 19-8 in a 7-under ball game here. The Southside Wildcats against the Arizona Devilcats. Wildcats leading by a score of 19-8, and the Wildcats will get the ball first as Devilcats in those white uniforms in the blue are the Wildcats. Devilcats, Wildcats. Again, the Wildcats in blue, the Devilcats in the white. Lincoln Lindsay kicks it off. He had that nice PAT, and that a good onside kick, and it kicks around. Who's going to have this ball? It is recovered by the Devilcats. Oliver Smith got the onside kick. Lincoln Lindsay, wearing number 98, had that nice extra point early on. So he's got a nice future as a kicker. Pounded that one through, and now the referees again needing to sort out. To be honest, that has what has really taken a lot of time is the referees really trying to figure things out, but you want to get everything correct. Recapping the scoring, the Wildcats got off to a 19-0 lead behind runs by Reese of 56 yards, 62 by Taft, 90-yard fumble return by Espindola. Then the Devilcats scoring before the half on a 1-yard run by the quarterback Lindsay. Lincoln Lindsay with the 2-point extra point conversion. So 19-8, Wildcats lead the very start of the third quarter. The onside kick was recovered by the Devilcats. They have it first down and 10 from their own 47-yard line. Out of the shotgun, the ball pops loose. It's picked up as Merrick Lindsay running to his left, and he has stood up and taken down after about a 5-yard gain at the 48-yard line of the Wildcats. And leading the charge that time for the Wildcats was King Ia, spelled I-L-L-A, amongst others in on the tackle. Officially, we'll give him about 4.5 yards, but rounded off to 5. Second down and 5 for the Devilcats. Ball resting in between the 49 and the 48-yard line of the Wildcats. Second down and 5. Merrick Lindsay, wearing number 2, is the quarterback once again. Jaden Palafox, 21, also in the backfield. He's the one that gets that shotgun, and he tosses it high into the air on the far side. It goes incomplete near the first down marker. Intended for Oliver Smith. So changing up in the quarterback position, number 2, Merrick Lindsay, as well as 21, Jaden Palafox. Third down and 5, 4-down territory for the Devilcats. Stay at the 48-yard line of the Wildcats. Wildcats leading 19-8, early stages of the third quarter. From the shotgun, this is Merrick Lindsay going to his left. The ball pops loose, but I think he was whistled down. Again, another big tackle by Zakai Sewell, wearing number 18 for the Wildcats. A loss of a yard, maybe a half yard on that play, will make it 4th down and 6 for the Devilcats, the 49 of the Wildcats. Wildcats from the south side, rather than surprise. Arizona Devilcats out of Glendale, Peoria. 4th down and 6 for the Devilcats, the Wildcat 49-yard line. Halifax fires, and this is complete to the far side to Oliver Smith. They needed 6, and they got right around 8. A nice catch in traffic by Smith, and it's a gain of 9. Officially moved the chains, 1st and 10, Devilcats. A big 4th down conversion. The ball rests at the 40 of the Wildcats. Palafox gets a snap and nothing doing that time as down he goes. Julian Espindola, 23, right there to get him. Loss, they're saying he got back to the original line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 10. Well, now they're going to move it back a yard. So he did not get back to the original line. Be second down and 11. Devilcats at the Wildcat 41. Wildcats leading 19-8 early in the third quarter. Penalty marker comes in. Now offside, and that's going to be against the Wildcats. Cost them 5 yards, bringing up second down and 6. Devilcats now at the 36 of the Wildcats. 2 p.m. Now that game will be starting a little bit late also. Halifax back to throw. Throws it into double coverage, and they're not signaling whether the catch was made. I do not believe it was caught. Bain Barnum, 42, was in the vicinity. It goes incomplete. Third down and 6. Devilcats at their own 36. They need, I should say at the Wildcats 36. They need the 30 for a first down. Obviously, 4-down territory. 21 is Jaden Palafox, the quarterback for the Devilcats, wearing 21. Been rotating a little bit with Merrick Lindsay. Third down and 6. Palafox will throw again here to the near side, and that nearly intercepted. Intended for Smith, with Major Thomas right there as well as Ia. Now a big fourth down for the Devilcats. 4th and 6 at the 36 of the Wildcats. Wildcats leading 19-6 here midway through the third quarter. Game 1, the Devilcats 12 and under ball club won over the Wildcats 25-13. Big 4th down and 6 for the Devilcats at the Wildcats 36-yard line. Jaden Palafox giving signals, but now Merrick Lindsay goes out of the shotgun wearing number 2. Man in motion on the end around, going from left to right. This time is Bain Barnum, and fights his way all the way down the right side, and there for a first down. So Bain Branham, not Barnum, Branham, carries it around the right side, and he picked up 10 yards on the end around and a first down on a big 4th down conversion. First down and 10, Devilcats at the 26 of the Wildcats. They're on the move. Palafox runs to his left, gets to the outside, slipped a couple of tackles, then sandwiched down around the 15-yard line. Jaden Reese on the tackle, as well as Davis, Taft, and Thomas. That is enough for another first down, a gain of 10, first down and 10. Branham gets the end around going right, tries to get to the outside, inside the 20, sidesteps a defender, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown. Bain Branham was some shifty moves on the far side, and that goes for 15 yards, no penalties on the play. A 15-yard end around to Bain Branham. And midway through the third quarter, the Wildcats, or I should say the Devilcats, strike again. It's now 19-14. 14 unanswered points for the Devilcats. And the last time it was a 2-point conversion on the kick by Lincoln Lindsay. It's a big weapon if you can get it. So Lincoln Lindsay will try the extra point again for 2 points. There was no rush. I guess they don't allow him a rush. If he makes the extra point for 2 points, it'll make it a 19-16 game. So right now the Wildcats leading 19-14. Midway through the third quarter, and Lincoln Lindsay, number 98. I'd imagine, was going to try the extra point. Now a penalty marks that ball at the 12-yard line rather than at the 2. So I think the Devilcats now will go for the 1-point conversion. So no 2-point kick. It'll be a 1-point conversion. The throw goes to the end zone. It's knocked down near the end zone on the toss by Palafox. So the score remains 19-14 in favor of the Wildcats, but a 14 unanswered points for the Devilcats. So we got ourselves a ball game. The Devilcats will kick off with Lincoln Lindsay to the Wildcats. So after the Wildcats got out to a quick 19-0 lead on 62-yard run by Taft, 56-yard run by Reese, fumble return of 90 yards by Espindola, the Devilcats added a 1-yard run by Lindsay, a 2-point extra point kick by Lincoln Lindsay, now a 15-yard run by Branham. And we got a tighter ball game, 19-14 Wildcats here, guessing around 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The Devilcats will tee it up from their own 40-yard line. Lincoln Lindsay with a good leg for the Devilcats will kick off. Espindola back deep on the far side, 23. Lincoln Lindsay, who kicked an extra point going for 2 points, will kick off for the Devilcats. This one he kicks deep. It is picked up back at the 33-yard line by Reese. Jadance Reese out to the outside, slipping a few tackles, and finally steps out of bounds here at the 46-yard line of the Devilcats. 21-yard return by quarterback Jadance Reese, who had a 56-yard run from scrimmage for the first score for the Wildcats. So it'll be good field position for the Wildcats. First down and 10 at the 46 of the Devilcats. First game of the day won by the Devilcats 25-13. That a 12 and under action. The game after this, which will start later than 2 p.m., 13 and under, the AZ Crush at Acosta Grande against the PV Hitmen out of Prescott Valley. Wildcats have allowed 14 unanswered points. They continue to lead at 19-14, first down and 10. Wildcats to the Devilcats, 46-yard line. A penalty marker comes in. It's going to be a false start against the Wildcats, I believe. The head coach for the Wildcats wanted offside, but it was a false start against the Wildcats. It'll cost them 5 yards. First and 15, Wildcats now from their own 49. Jadance Reese, the quarterback, wearing 29. Julian Espindola, 23, to the right in the backfield. Levi Taft, number 3 on the far side. Man checking out here for the, eye snap, and goes to Espindola, nearly tripped up, slips a couple of tackles, stays on his feet, darting and dancing, stays on his feet and picks up about 5 yards. Espindola was in trouble, but very slippery runner, and he ended up picking up 5 yards back to the original line of scrimmage, the 46-yard line of the Devilcats. Julian Espindola, who had a 90-yard fumble return for a touchdown, picks up 5 yards. Second down and 10. Wildcats, the Devilcats, 46-yard line. Jadance Reese, 29, the quarterback, under center. They get in the backfield. The ball pops loose as Reese picks it up. Reese picked it up, and right there was Levi Chavez, number 7 for the Devilcats, to make sure he was down, and they lose that 5 yards back once again over midfield to their own 49. 3rd and 15 for the Wildcats back of their own 49-yard line. Wildcats leading 19-14 here. 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Reese, the quarterback, goes under center. Looked like there was a little bit of movement. He's going to take it himself over the left side and picks up 7 yards. Taken down by Palafox on the far side. He got 7 of them back inside the 45 to the 44-yard line of the Devilcats. It'll bring up 4th down and 8 for the Wildcats, but is there a penalty? Oh, end of the quarter. Man, does that come up in a hurry. Well, with no working scoreboard, it is 19-14 Wildcats over the Devilcats after 3 quarters complete. So we start the fourth quarter. The Wildcats leading by a score of 19-14. The Wildcats 4th down and 8. Now moving from right to left at the 44-yard line of the Devilcats. Jaden Reese, 29, the quarterback, goes under center. Going to take it himself going left. Has pressure, but takes a couple of defenders on and taken out of bounds here on the near side by Elijah De Silva. Shy of the first down. He needed 8. He got down inside the 40, and the ball will be spotted at the 38-yard line of the Devilcats. And on downs, the Devilcats will take over 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line. So the Wildcats not able to pick up the 4th down on the run by Reese. 14 unanswered points for the Devilcats. 1st down and 10 Devilcats from their own 38-yard line. Merrick Lindsay, the quarterback, hands off going from right to left is Branham, who gets to the outside, and he's going to be thrown down far side around the 44-yard line. Taken down by Jaden Reese, who doubles as the quarterback. Branham with a 5-yard pickup. He had a 15-yard run early on. 2nd down and 5. Devilcats from their own 43-yard line. 2nd and 5. Merrick Lindsay going left, gets to the outside, has the 1st down and more, and he's over midfield. King Ia, one of the tacklers, in on that, tackling a gain of 8 on the play. It'll be 1st down and 10 for the Devilcats at the 48 of the Wildcats. First and 10, Lindsay fires. It is complete on the far side. And taking that ball inside the 20 all the way down to the 16-yard line that time. Again, they find Oliver Smith. Where are they going to mark that ball? So Oliver Smith with a 30-yard gain. making the catch all the way down to the 18-yard line of the Wildcats. Smith has had a couple of big catches this afternoon, and the momentum has certainly shifted to the Devilcats. They have 14 unanswered points, still trailing at 19-14 here in the early stages of the fourth quarter. So a timeout is called. Wildcats with a timeout as they're going to try to stop the bleeding here. 14 unanswered points for the Devilcats, and they're knocking on the door again. They trail at 19-14. Wildcats in the lead. It'll be first down and 10 for the Devilcats at the 18-yard line of the Wildcats. Four minutes to 2 o'clock here, so the second game, the 13 and under game, will be starting a little bit late again, as generally the ball game's always about an hour and a half, but these have kind of dragged a little bit. First and 10 for the Devilcats at the Wildcat 18-yard line. Merrick Lindsay, the quarterback, number 2, gets a snap. The handoff going right this time. And a gain maybe of about a yard by the running back that time. Bain Branham picked up a yard. It'll be second down and 9 for the Devilcats at the 17 of the Wildcats. Wildcats needing to make a stop as they lead at 19-14 here in the fourth quarter. Temperatures right around 80 degrees. Second and 9 for the Devilcats at the 17-yard line of the Wildcats. Out of the shotgun, a quick toss into traffic. It comes up a little bit short as that time Jaden Palafox in at quarterback wearing 21, and he threw into traffic a little bit short, and he was lucky that didn't get picked off. 4 down territory. Third and 9 for the Devilcats at the 17 of the Wildcats. 14 unanswered points for the Devilcats. Wildcats leading 19-14 midway through the fourth quarter here. No operating scoreboard, so just estimating the time on the clock. Palafox will be the quarterback who goes out of the shotgun. He throws here to the near side, and it goes incomplete at the 10-yard line. Intended for Bain Branham. So it'll be fourth down and 9 for the Devilcats at the 17 of the Wildcats. They need the 8-yard line for a first down. Play of the game right here as the Wildcats trying to hold on to a 19-14 lead. They turned the Devilcats away on 4 plays inside the 2-yard line of the Wildcats early on. Let's see if they can do it again. Merrick Lindsay, the quarterback, now number 2 on fourth down and 9. Pitch it going left this time, trying to get to the outside. And getting it, it all depends on the spot. That time they hand it off to Elijah De Silva on the left side, and it's all going to come down to the spot. He had to take on a defender. It's going to be close. It was a fourth down carry. No signal yet. Have you seen anything?
Haven't seen but one signal all
So a good job by De Silva around the left side to really put it into second gear. Zamir Samuels comes out number 22 for the Wildcats. So they did not pick up the first down. De Silva, so what was the call? So So the referee signaled that it was Wildcat ball, but indeed it belongs to the Devilcats. All right, the pitch going right this time on first down and goal. De Silva gets to the outside, and he is close to the end zone, but knocked out of bounds at the 1 yard line. Knocked out by Julius Davis, as well as Jaden Reese. A gain of 6 for De Silva down to the 1 yard line. He just picked up that first down on that prior play. And now it's going to be second down and goal for the Devilcats at the 1 yard line of the Wildcats. Merrick Lindsay is the quarterback. He will go under center. Going to take it himself on the quarterback keeper. No indication yet as he ran into a whole lot of big guys inside. Tayden Carr as well as Zakai Sewell really plugging that hole up, and Merrick Lindsay couldn't get in. In fact, earlier in the ball game, the Devilcats were turned away on 4 plays in this exact position. The Wildcats leading 19-14 here midway through the fourth quarter, and can they do it again? It's third down and goal for the Devilcats at the 1 yard line of the Wildcats. Lindsay this time steps back, and he is grabbed, and down he goes. A blitz, and Julian Espindola getting there first. A loss of 3 on that play, and this is the play of the game right here for the Devilcats. Can the Wildcats stop them again? That time they lost 3, and it's fourth down and goal. Devilcats at the 4 yard line of the Wildcats. Wildcats leading 19-14 with midway through the fourth quarter. Merrick Lindsay again, shovel pass here to the right side, and the runner goes down. A tremendous play by Ezekiel Hayes. Did you say 14? Can you double check on that? Oh, on the tackle. So officially it was Levi Taft and Ezekiel Hayes on that tackle. And so once again, the Wildcats, for the second time in the ball game, turn away the Devilcats deep in their own territory. Wildcats with a 19-14 lead. Later stages of the fourth quarter. This a run to the right side. To the outside, all sorts of running room. It is Jaden Reed who's going to go all the way for a touchdown around the right side. It'll go for 96 yards, taking a look at any penalties here. So Jaden Reed, who earlier had a 56-yard touchdown run, should say Reese, Jaden Reese, took it around the right side on the quarterback keeper. Maybe after the Devilcats having their offensive series squashed, that it may, that can happen. You get the big play right after that, and Jaden Reese with his second touchdown of the afternoon goes 96 yards unofficially to make it 25-14 Wildcats, and things turn around in a hurry that time. So Reese with all sorts of speed up that right side, going 96 yards for the touchdown. And now the Wildcats will go for a 1-point conversion. 23 is Espindola. Taft is number 3. Jaden Reese, 29, the quarterback, will go out of the shotgun. They will go for a 1-point conversion. The tailback is Levi Taft, wearing number 3. In fact, it looks like they're going to try an extra point. I guess with no rushing. Taft's kick is up, and he just snuck it through the uprights. It is 27-14 in favor of the Wildcats on the 2-point kick by Levi Taft. I swear it looked like he kicked it off the ground. I think he did. Of course, there's no rush on those extra point kicks, so it looks a little unorthodox, but at the 7-year-old level, that's quite a feat to make those extra points and to kick them up and good from about 17 or 20 yards. So for the second time this afternoon, the Wildcats turned away the Devilcats very deep in the Wildcat territory, turning them away twice when they were inside the 2-yard line, and Devilcats came up empty on both occasions. Then right after that, a 96-yard touchdown run by Jaden Reese. The 2-point kick conversion by Levi Taft. And right now it's 27-14 in favor of the Wildcats. So things can change in a hurry. One moment the Devilcats were knocking on the door, but on a quarterback sneak attempt by Merrick Lindsay, he was taken down at the 1-yard line. Couldn't get in, and things turned right around. Levi Taft's kick here to the near side. It is picked up at the 35-yard line here on the near side by Merrick Lindsay. So things turning around in a hurry. Bang, bang. Devilcats not able to get into the end zone inside the 1-yard line. Then, after being turned away a couple of times, a 96-yard run the other way by the Wildcats quarterback, Jaden Reese. 96 yards, his second of the afternoon. So right now it's 8 minutes after 2. The 13-inning game was scheduled to start at 2, but everything has been running behind. But the difference in this ball game, the Wildcats have turned away the Devilcats twice. In fact, inside the 1-yard line of the Wildcats, turned them away on defense twice. That's probably the difference in the ball game. Devilcats first down and 10 from their own 39-yard line. Handoff inside. De Silva going to his right and taken down at the 44-yard line by Julius Davis. We're here in the fourth quarter. That a gain of 6 for De Silva. Again, no scoreboard operating, so I guess this is in the later stages of the fourth quarter with a 27-14 Wildcat lead. Second down and 4 for the Devilcats from their own 45-yard line. Out of the shotgun, the ball is fumbled. Falling it on that time, Merrick Lindsay, the quarterback for the Devilcats. A loss of a yard, third down and 5, Devilcats from their own 44. Closing stages of the fourth quarter, and the Devilcats trailing 27-14. Lindsay again thought about running. Runs into some people, now cuts to his right, and he's upended about the 47-yard line, that time by Levi Taft. They'll spot it at the 48. It'll be 4th down and 1 for the Devilcats from their own 48. The 2 o'clock game will start a little bit late. 13 and under Arizona Crush out of Casa Grande against the PV Hitmen out of Prescott Valley. First game was a 12 and under matchup. The Devilcats beating the Wildcats 25-13. 4th down and 1 for the Devilcats from their own 48-yard line. The quarterback, Merrick Lindsay, number 2, in front of the I formation. The fullback is De Silva. Quick toss. Tried to toss to the left, and it was tipped. Well, now they're claiming for Julian Espindola to run it, claiming it was a fumble. Let's see what the referees do on this one. You'd need I think the throw, if it was tipped, I believe. It was behind the line of scrimmage. I believe it'll be Wildcats ball at the 31-yard line of the Devilcats. So Espindola picked up his second fumble of the afternoon. His first one was a 90-yard fumble return for a touchdown. The 1st down and 10, Wildcats at the Devilcats 30-yard line, 27-14. Wildcats lead it here in the closing moments of the 4th quarter. Some changes on, it is going to be Wildcat ball. That ball pops loose on the attempted handoff. Arturo Arroyo was really the one that got in and disrupted that play for the Devilcats. A 5-yard loss. It'll be 2nd and 15 for the Wildcats at the 35 of the Devilcats. Coming out now is Amir Samuels, 22. 2nd down and 15. Jaden Reese, the quarterback, wearing 29. Pair of touchdowns and some movement. It looked maybe like number 3, Levi Taft. The left side may have jumped a little bit. Cost him 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 20. Second and 20 for the Wildcats at the 40 of the Devilcats. Closing moments of the ball game with the Wildcats leading 27-14. Wildcats trying to extend their record to 3-1. Reese under center. Taft goes in motion. They hand off to Taft going right. Gets to the outside. Slipped one tackle. Stays on his feet. Gets the 1st down and more. And not sure if he's out of bounds quite yet. It all depends on where they're going to mark him. Going to mark him down at the 9-yard line. So a 31-yard run around the right side by Levi Taft. So the Wildcats just trying to close things out here in the later stages of the ball game, leading 27-14. So Wildcats 1st down and goal at the 9-yard line of the Devilcats. Jaden Reese, the quarterback, looking for directions, and a penalty marker comes in. It'll be offside against the Devilcats, moving it half the distance to the goal. Well, the offside, they were going to mark it against the Wildcats. Now it'll be marked off against the proper team, the Devilcats. They'll mark it at the 4-yard line. Be first and goal for the Wildcats at the Devilcat 4. Closing moments of the ball game, 27-14 Wildcats. Jaden Cerise, the quarterback, with touchdown runs of 96 and 56 yards, goes out of the shotgun. Reese looks to throw towards the end zone. It's intercepted by the Devilcats, and it's Oliver Smith out on the left side and taken down at the 10-yard line. A Wildcat is down around the 5-yard line. It is Zamir Samuels. This ball game's just about has to be over. I'm not sure. There's been a lot of injuries, none really bad, but 2:16, so on average these games will run an hour and a half. The first game ran long, and now this one running kind of long. Zamir Samuels is still down, number 22 for the Wildcats. Wildcats got out to a 19-0 lead, then 14 unanswered points by the Devilcats, and then a 96-yard touchdown run by Reese. A lot of noises out here. A lot of times that'll signal the end of the game, but I'm not sure. Is it the end? So that is the end of the ball game as the Wildcats win it by a score of 27-14. Their record improves to 3-1. The Wildcats out of the South Side. The 13 and under ball game coming up in a few minutes. It's 13 and under AZ Crush out of Casa Grande against the PV Hitmen out of Prescott Valley. I'm Eric Anderson. Again, final score: the Wildcats beat the Devilcats 27-14.